Overthinking is killing your potential. The war inside your mind. There is a version of you that exists only in imagination. Confident, disciplined, focused, successful. You see that version sometimes. Late at night, when everything is quiet, you imagine waking up early. You imagine building something meaningful. You imagine speaking with certainty. But when morning comes, your mind starts talking. What if you fail? What if they judge you? What if this is not the right time? And just like that, the powerful version of you disappears. Not because you're incapable, but because you're trapped in thought. The silent addiction. Overthinking is addictive. Yes, addictive, because it gives you a feeling of control. When you analyze everything, you feel prepared. When you imagine every scenario, you feel safe. But preparation without execution is just fear wearing a suit. Most people don't fail because they lack intelligence. They fail because they are mentally paralyzed. And paralysis feels calm. You don't embarrass yourself. You don't risk anything. You don't lose. But you also don't grow. There were two young men. Both had the same dream. Start a business. The first one thought about it for 2 years. He researched competitors. He studied the market. He watched hundreds of videos. He built complex plans. The second one, he started in 2 weeks. His website was messy. His branding was imperfect. His product had flaws. 1 year later, the first man had anxiety. The second had experience. Overthinking makes you feel intelligent. Action makes you powerful. And the world rewards power, not potential. The biological trap. Your brain is not designed for success. It is designed for survival. Thousands of years ago, thinking about danger saved lives. What if there's a predator? Today, there are no predators chasing you. But your brain doesn't know that, so it creates modern predators: rejection, embarrassment, failure, judgment. It treats social discomfort like physical danger. That's why your heart races before posting a video. That's why your stomach tightens before speaking in public. That's why you delay starting. Your brain thinks it's protecting you, but it's protecting you from growth. Many people say, "I'm tired," but they didn't run. They didn't fight. They didn't build anything. So why are they tired? Because thinking consumes energy. Every decision you replay, every conversation you reanalyze, every future scenario you imagine, burns mental fuel. Overthinking is mental cardio, and you're running in circles. The identity trap. The worst sentence you can say is, "I'm just an overthinker," because your brain builds identity around repetition. If you repeat something enough, you become it. Instead say, "I act even when I overthink." Identity first, behavior second. Here's the first thing you must understand. You cannot eliminate overthinking, but you can shorten it. The goal is not silence. The goal is speed. Successful people don't have fewer doubts. They just spend less time listening to them. A powerful realization. Think about this. How many disasters did your mind predict that never happened? How many times did you imagine humiliation and nothing happened? Your brain is a bad fortune teller, yet you treat it like a prophet. The internal war. There are two voices inside you. Voice 1, safe, comfortable, careful. Voice 2, bold, ambitious, risky. Overthinking strengthens the safe voice. Action strengthens the bold one. Every day, you vote for one of them, and your future belongs to the voice you feed. The mechanics of overthinking. How your mind traps you. You now understand something important. Overthinking is not weakness. It is misdirected intelligence. But now we go deeper. We need to understand how it traps you. Because once you understand the mechanism, you stop being controlled by it. Overthinking works like this. Trigger: thought, emotion. More thoughts, stronger emotion, paralysis. Example: you want to post a video. Trigger: upload. Thought: what if it's not good? Emotion: anxiety. New thought: people will judge. Emotion increases. New thought: maybe I should wait and improve. Emotion becomes relief. Action: you don't post. Your brain learns something dangerous. Avoiding action removes anxiety. And just like that, you trained yourself to hesitate. Every time you avoid action, your brain rewards you with temporary comfort, and comfort becomes addiction, dopamine, and mental stimulation. Here is something most people don't understand. Overthinking stimulates the brain. When you imagine future success, your brain releases dopamine. It feels good. You feel productive. You feel motivated. But you didn't do anything. Your brain gave you the reward before the work. So now, you prefer imagining success over building success. This is why many people dream big but act small. They already feel rewarded inside their heads. Now let's talk about the modern amplifier, social media. You open your phone. You see someone younger than you making money, someone fitter than you, someone more confident, someone more successful. Your brain immediately compares. Comparison creates pressure. Pressure creates doubt. Doubt creates overthinking. Overthinking creates inaction. Inaction creates more comparison. It becomes a cycle. You don't feel behind because you are incapable. You feel behind because you are constantly measuring yourself. And measurement without action destroys confidence. Humans evolved in tribes. Being rejected by the tribe meant death. So your brain still treats judgment like survival threat. When you think, "What will they think?" your brain activates fear centers. But here's the truth. Most people are too busy overthinking their own lives to analyze yours. You are not the center of their thoughts. You are the center of yours. And that is where the battle happens. Perfection is the most sophisticated excuse. You say, "I just want it to be better." But what you really mean is, "I'm afraid to be seen imperfect." Perfectionism is fear with high standards. You polish, you adjust, you delay, but you never release. And nothing improves in private forever. Growth requires exposure. Overthinkers crave control. They believe, "If I think about every outcome, I can prevent failure." But life is chaotic. You can prepare, but you cannot control. And trying to control everything creates mental overload. Imagine holding 20 glass balls: business, health, relationships, money, image, future, family, fitness, skills. You try to control all of them perfectly. Eventually, you drop everything. Because humans are not built for total control. They are built for focused effort. Every decision consumes mental energy. What to wear, what to eat, what to post, what to say, what to do next. Now add overthinking. Replaying conversations, imagining outcomes, questioning choices. Your brain overheats, and when it overheats, it chooses the easiest option: comfort, scrolling, avoiding, sleeping, postponing. Not because you're lazy, but because you're mentally exhausted. Every time you hesitate, you tell yourself, "I'm not decisive." Every time you delay, you tell yourself, "I'm not ready." Every time you avoid, you tell yourself, "I'm not capable." Over time, this becomes identity. And identity is powerful. Because once something becomes identity, you defend it, even if it hurts you. Let me tell you about someone who had talent. He wanted to start creating content. He had ideas. He had skill. He had equipment. But he overthought everything: lighting, Script, tone, audience reaction, comments. He delayed for 6 months. One day he met someone less talented, but that person posted daily, messy, imperfect, raw. 1 year later, the less talented one had momentum, audience, confidence. The overthinker had better ideas, but no proof. Talent without execution is invisible, and the world only sees what you release. Here is the realization that changes everything. Overthinking is not a thinking problem, it is a courage problem. You don't need more clarity, you need more action. Clarity is earned, not imagined. The rule of 51%. If you are 51% sure, move, not 100%, not perfect, 51%. Because certainty is built forward, not found before, rewiring your brain. The discipline of action. Overthinking is not removed by motivation. It is removed by retraining. Your brain is adaptive. Whatever you repeat, it strengthens. If you repeat hesitation, you become decisive at doubting. If you repeat action, you become powerful at execution. You are not stuck because you think too much. You are stuck because you trained your brain to prioritize safety over growth. And today, that training changes. The truth about confidence. Most people believe confidence comes first. It doesn't. Confidence is a byproduct. It is built from evidence. And evidence only comes from action. You don't become confident by imagining success. You become confident by surviving failure. Every time you act despite fear, you collect proof. Proof that you can handle discomfort. Proof that embarrassment doesn't kill you. Proof that rejection doesn't define you. And slowly, your brain rewrites its script. Action before emotion. Here is a law that changes everything. Action changes emotion. Emotion does not reliably change action. If you wait to feel ready, you will wait forever, because readiness is created in motion. Imagine someone who wants to go to the gym. They say, "I'll go when I feel motivated." Motivation rarely arrives, but if they force themselves to go once, energy appears after movement. Overthinking works the same way. You don't wait for clarity. You move, and clarity follows. When you notice yourself spiraling, you must interrupt the pattern immediately. Say internally, "Stop." Not gently, firmly. Your brain is like a dog. If you let it run wild, it runs everywhere. If you command it, it learns boundaries. Then ask one question. What is the smallest action I can take right now? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Small actions weaken overthinking. Inaction strengthens it. Shrinking fear, overthinking magnifies uncertainty. So you must shrink it. Ask yourself, what is the worst realistic outcome? Then ask, can I survive that? Most of the time, the answer is yes. Embarrassment is survivable. Failure is survivable. Judgment is survivable. Your brain reacts as if they are fatal. They are not. When fear shrinks, courage expands. Building emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is the skill of acting without waiting for emotional permission. You will feel doubt. You will feel anxiety. You will feel resistance. But those feelings are temporary waves. They are not commands. Strong people are not fearless. They are obedient to purpose, not to emotion. You must decide, will you obey comfort or will you obey growth? The 30-day rewiring system. If you truly want to transform, you need structure, not inspiration. Here is a framework. Week 1, micro decisions. Make small decisions quickly. What to wear, what to eat, what to start first. Stop debating small things. Train your brain to move faster. Speed builds decisiveness. Week 2, daily discomfort. Every day, do one uncomfortable action. Send the message, post the video, ask the question, speak up. Exposure reduces fear. Avoidance multiplies it. Week 3, Decision deadlines. Every decision gets a time limit. Small decisions, 5 minutes. Medium decisions, 30 minutes. Large decisions, 24 hours. No decision lives in your head for a week. You decide. Then you move. Week 4. Identity shift. Stop saying, "I'm an overthinker." Say, "I'm someone who acts." Your brain listens to repetition. If you repeat action, you become action. If you repeat doubt, you become doubt. Identity is the root of behavior. Change the identity, and behavior follows. The present moment. Anchor. Overthinking lives in the future. Control lives in the present. When anxiety rises, anchor yourself physically. Feel your breathing. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice the sounds around you. You cannot overthink deeply while fully grounded in the present. Presence weakens imagination, and imagination is fuel for fear. A story of reprogramming. There was a man who wanted to start creating content. Every day he planned. He adjusted scripts, changed ideas, refined outlines, but he never posted. One day, he made a rule. No thinking after recording. He recorded. He uploaded. He refused to re-watch more than once. The first videos were imperfect, but something changed. He built tolerance. Tolerance to imperfection. Tolerance to judgment. Tolerance to exposure. Within a year, he didn't need confidence anymore. He had momentum. Momentum replaces doubt. The power of momentum. Overthinking thrives in stillness. Momentum kills hesitation. When you act consistently, your brain stops questioning every move, because action becomes normal. Discipline is not intensity. It is repetition. Small daily movement builds a powerful identity. You don't need to eliminate fear. You need to lower the time between fear and action. At first, it may take days, then hours, then minutes. Eventually, it takes seconds. And that is when you become dangerous. Not because you don't think, but because you don't hesitate. Advanced mental control. How high performers think under pressure. There is a massive difference between ordinary thinkers and high performers. Both feel fear. Both feel doubt. Both experience uncertainty. But one group hesitates. The other moves. The difference is not intelligence. It is mental control. The builder versus the thinker. There are two types of people in this world, the thinker and the builder. The thinker analyzes every possibility. They calculate risks. They imagine outcomes. They wait for clarity. The builder starts before clarity exists. The thinker asks, "What if it fails?" The builder asks, "What if it works?" The thinker wants certainty. The builder creates evidence. And the world rewards builders, because results only come from execution. How high performers handle pressure. When pressure increases, most people overthink more. High performers simplify. They ask, "What is in my control? What is the next step?" Nothing else. They do not try to solve the entire future. They focus on the immediate action. Pressure becomes lighter when broken into small tasks. Overthinking happens when you carry the entire future at once. The control circle. Imagine two circles. Inner circle, what you control. Outer circle, what you don't control. Overthinkers live in the outer circle. They worry about opinions, outcomes, timing, other people's reactions. High performers stay in the inner circle. Effort, preparation, consistency, execution. When you shift focus to control, anxiety decreases, because control gives stability. Silent confidence. Confidence is loud when it's fake, but real confidence is quiet. It does not need validation. It does not need applause. It does not need reassurance. It comes from repetition. When you've acted hundreds of times, despite fear, you no longer panic, because your brain has evidence. Evidence creates calm. Calm creates control. Control creates power. When stress hits, you have three options. Level 1, panic. You freeze, you delay, you overthink. Level 2, analyze. You slow down, you examine, but you still hesitate. Level 3, execute. You breathe, you simplify, you move. High performers train themselves to go directly to level 3, not because they don't feel fear, but because they refuse to negotiate with it. Mental strength is built like physical strength, through resistance. If you avoid every uncomfortable situation, you become fragile. If you expose yourself gradually, you become resilient. Speak when nervous. Act when unsure. Decide when uncertain. Each time you do, your tolerance increases. Overthinking decreases as tolerance increases. The more you avoid something, the scarier it becomes. The more you face it, the smaller it feels. Avoiding posting makes posting terrifying. Posting daily makes it normal. Avoiding conversation makes it stressful. Talking often makes it natural. Fear shrinks under exposure. This is not motivation. It is neurological adaptation. The mental command system. High performers don't argue with their minds. They give commands. Instead of, "I don't feel ready," they say, "Do it anyway." Instead of, "This might fail," they say, "Execute." Short commands create clarity. Long internal debates create paralysis. You must shorten your internal dialogue. Less discussion, more direction. Separating thought from identity. Here is a powerful shift. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts are mental events. They pass. They appear. They disappear. When a thought says, "You're not good enough," that is not truth. It is noise. High performers observe thoughts without obeying them. They treat negative thoughts like background music, present but irrelevant. The builder's daily rule. Every day must contain one act of courage, one action that stretches you, not extreme, but uncomfortable. That is how silent confidence builds. You don't need a massive breakthrough. You need consistent micro-courage. Here is a mindset shift. Pressure is proof of growth. If you feel nervous, it means you are expanding. Comfort rarely produces anxiety. Growth does. So instead of asking, "How do I eliminate pressure?" ask, "How do I perform inside it?" Because pressure is not the enemy. Avoidance is. The identity upgrade. Stop seeing yourself as someone fighting overthinking. Start seeing yourself as someone building control. Say internally, "I execute under pressure." Repeat it. Act on it. Reinforce it. Your brain will follow the identity you repeat most. Reprogramming the subconscious. The deep work. Most people avoid. Most people try to control overthinking at the surface. They change routines. They try motivation. They watch videos. They write affirmations. But they never touch the root. Overthinking is not just a habit. It is programming. And if you do not reprogram the subconscious mind, you will keep fighting the same battle with different strategies. The invisible script. Running your life. Every person has an internal script. It was built in childhood, through experiences, through criticism, through fear, through comparison. Maybe someone once said, "You're not disciplined. You're too sensitive. You're not smart enough." Your brain recorded it. And now, years later, that voice sounds like your own. But it isn't. It is an echo. And echoes can be rewritten. Why logic doesn't kill. Overthinking. Have you ever noticed something? You know you are overthinking. You know it's irrational, but you still do it. That's because overthinking lives in the emotional brain, not the logical brain. Logic speaks softly. Emotion screams. If you don't regulate emotion, logic will always lose. So we don't fight thoughts. We regulate the nervous system. The nervous system. Reset when anxiety rises. Your body enters survival mode. Heart rate increases. Breathing becomes shallow. Muscles tighten. And the brain says, danger. So it starts scanning for threats. That scanning becomes overthinking. To break it, you must calm the body first. Slow breathing, long exhale, relax shoulders, unclenched jaw. The body sends a new message, safe. And when the body feels safe, the mind slows down. Control starts in the body. The identity reconstruction process. Most people try to change behavior. Few change identity. But identity controls behavior. If you believe, I am an anxious person, your brain will search for evidence. If you believe, I am someone who handles pressure, your brain will also search for evidence. Identity is a filter, so you must consciously upgrade it. Write down, who am I becoming? Calm under stress, decisive, focused, resilient. Read it daily, act slightly in alignment with it. The subconscious learns through repetition and proof. Breaking fear patterns. Fear patterns are loops. Trigger, thought, emotion, avoidance, temporary relief, reinforced fear. Avoidance is the trap. Each time you avoid, you teach your brain that was dangerous. So the fear grows. To break the loop, trigger, thought, emotion, small action, no catastrophe, reduced fear. You don't need heroic actions. You need small confrontations, micro-exposure, consistent repetition. Here is something powerful. You are allowed to feel emotions without becoming them. Anxiety can exist while you act calmly. Doubt can exist while you execute confidently. Emotion is weather. Identity is climate. Weather changes daily. Climate is long-term. If you confuse temporary emotion with permanent identity, you shrink yourself. High performers separate the two. Turning anxiety into fuel. Anxiety is energy. The problem is direction. Uncontrolled, it becomes rumination. Directed, it becomes drive. Before a presentation, your heart beats faster. That is energy. Before posting online, you feel tension. That is energy. Instead of labeling it fear, label it activation. Words change interpretation. Interpretation changes response. The silence training. One of the most advanced mental skills is tolerating silence. No phone, no distraction, no scrolling. Just sitting. Why? Because silence reveals your mental noise. Most people distract themselves to avoid their own thoughts, but exposure reduces intensity. If you can sit with discomfort without reacting, you gain authority over your mind. Start with 5 minutes. Increase gradually. Your tolerance expands. The internal leadership model. Think of your mind as a team. Emotion is one member. Logic is another. Impulse is another. Fear is another. If fear leads the team, your life shrinks. If leadership, conscious awareness leads, the team functions. You don't eliminate fear. You outrank it. Leadership is calm direction. Mental stability is not achieved in one breakthrough moment. It is built through daily breathing control, daily small courageous actions, daily identity reinforcement, daily reduction of avoidance, daily exposure to growth. Consistency beats intensity. Every time, you are never broken, you are conditioned. Conditioning can be reversed. Control is not about silencing the mind completely. It is about choosing which thoughts deserve authority. And that is a skill, a trainable skill. Now you understand? Surface control, pressure execution, subconscious reprogramming. But we still need the final transformation, the ultimate focus system, building a mind that doesn't betray you. At this point, you understand something powerful. Overthinking is not your enemy. Untrained attention is. Your mind is not weak. It is undirected, and anything undirected becomes chaotic. So now, we build the system, not motivation, not temporary hype, a system. Because systems remove emotional dependency. Before we build focus, we need to understand what's destroying it. You are living in the most distracted era in human history. Notifications, short videos, infinite scroll, instant dopamine. Your brain is being trained to switch tasks every few seconds, and then you expect it to sit calmly and focus deeply. That's like feeding someone sugar all day and expecting marathon performance. Your attention is currency, and you are spending it everywhere. Focus is not about doing more, it's about protecting attention. The 3-level focus framework. We don't rely on willpower. We structure attention into 3 levels. Level 1, environmental control. Your environment shapes your mind more than motivation. If your phone is next to you, you will check it. If notifications are on, you will break focus. Remove friction for good habits. Add friction to distractions. Phone in another room. Notifications off. Clean workspace. Specific work zone, environment first. Always. Your brain needs boundaries. Open-ended work creates anxiety. Instead of, I will work all day, say, I will focus for 45 minutes. Time boxing reduces mental resistance. Your brain can tolerate intensity if it knows there's an end. 45 minutes deep focus. 10 minutes break. Repeat. That's power. Overthinking happens when tasks are vague. Work on project is vague. Write introduction paragraph is specific. Clarity reduces rumination. Your brain overthinks when it lacks clear targets. So before you start, define the exact outcome of the session. Specific target. Clear finish line. The anti-overthinking daily blueprint. Now let's structure a full day. This is not about being robotic. It's about building stability. Morning mental calibration. First 20 minutes, no phone, no social media. Your brain is most impressionable in the morning. If you start with noise, your mind becomes reactive. Instead, 5 minutes slow breathing, 5 minutes reviewing identity statement, 10 minutes planning, 3 critical tasks. That's it. You begin the day in control, not reacting. Midday performance block. This is where growth happens. Choose the most mentally demanding task. Do it early. Your willpower decreases throughout the day. Don't waste peak hours on low-value tasks. High cognition first, low cognition later. That alone separates average from elite. Evening cognitive shutdown. Most people never close mental loops, so they go to sleep overthinking. Before bed, write unfinished thoughts on paper. Tomorrow's top 3 tasks. 1 lesson learned today. You empty the mind onto paper. Sleep improves. Overthinking decreases. Discipline without self-hate. Here is a dangerous mistake. People think discipline means aggression. It doesn't. Discipline is structured self-respect. You don't insult yourself into consistency. You design your life into consistency. If you fail one day, no drama, no identity crisis. Just reset tomorrow. Consistency is built through calm correction, not emotional punishment. The future self-integration model. This is advanced. Close your eyes and imagine yourself 5 years from now. Confident, calm, not focused, successful. Now ask, how does that version handle stress? Does he panic? Does she overthink small opinions? Or do they decide and move? You must borrow identity from the future. Act as if you are already becoming that version. Your behavior will align. Identity drives action. Action reinforces identity. Cycle upward. Mental toughness versus emotional stability. Mental toughness is not suppressing emotion. It is functioning despite it. You can feel fear and still act. You can feel doubt and still decide. You don't wait for perfect emotional conditions. That's weakness disguised as self-awareness. Strength is emotional permission. I feel this, but I move anyway. That sentence alone can change your life. The 30-day mind rebuild plan. Transformation needs structure. Here's the blueprint. Days 1 to 7, reduce digital noise, fix sleep, practice breathing daily. Goal, stabilize nervous system. Days 8 to 14, implement time blocks, eliminate vague tasks, track distractions. Goal, train attention. Days 15-21, micro exposure to avoided tasks, daily discomfort challenge, speak up at least once per day. Goal, break fear patterns. Days 22-30, future self-journaling, increase deep work duration, remove one major avoidance habit. Goal, identity shift. 30 days of structure can undo years of chaos. The real secret. Nobody tells you. Overthinking never fully disappears. High-level minds think deeply. But the difference is control. You choose when to think deeply. You choose when to stop. That's mastery, not silence. Control. Closing transformation speech. For the video. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You were just never taught how to manage your mind. But now, you know. You know how to calm your nervous system. You know how to structure focus. You know how to break fear loops. You know how to build identity. The only question left is, will you apply it? Because information without execution is just entertainment. And you didn't come here to be entertained. You came here to change, so decide. Right now, not tomorrow, not Monday, now. The deep rewiring phase. From mental chaos to psychological authority, you've learned control, you've learned structure. Now we go deeper, because real transformation does not happen at the surface level, it happens in the wiring. The neuroscience of overthinking is not random. It is a loop between three brain systems: the amygdala, threat detection; the prefrontal cortex, decision-making; the default mode network, self-referential thinking. When you experience uncertainty, your amygdala activates. It signals danger. Your body releases stress hormones. Your prefrontal cortex tries to solve the problem. But if the problem is social approval, future uncertainty, or imagined scenarios, there is no clear solution. So the loop continues. The default mode network keeps replaying scenarios again and again and again. Overthinking is the brain trying to solve uncertainty. The solution is not more thinking, it is safety. When your nervous system feels safe, rumination decreases. That is why breathing works. That is why structured action works. That is why clarity works. They reduce perceived threat. And when threat drops, the loop weakens. The identity collapse moment. Every person who transforms goes through one painful stage: identity collapse. You start noticing, I don't like how I react. I don't like how I avoid. I don't like how small I play. That discomfort is growth. Most people escape this stage. They distract themselves. They justify behavior. They blame circumstances. But if you stay in that discomfort, you begin rebuilding identity consciously. Instead of, I am an anxious person, you say, I am learning emotional regulation. Instead of, I can't focus, you say, I am training my attention. Language reshapes identity. Identity reshapes behavior. Behavior reshapes results. This is psychological engineering. The three psychological pillars of elite minds. If you study high performers, you notice patterns, not motivation, not hype. Stability. Pillar 1, emotional regulation. They feel emotions, but they are not controlled by them. They pause before reacting. They breathe before responding. They separate stimulus from reaction. That space is power. Pillar 2, decision authority. Indecision feeds overthinking. Elite minds decide faster, not recklessly, but confidently. They accept that no decision guarantees perfection. They move, adjust later. Progress beats perfection. Pillar 3. Delayed emotional gratification. They don't need immediate comfort. They tolerate discomfort for future gain. They sit with boredom. They sit with uncertainty. They don't escape instantly. That tolerance builds psychological endurance. The real-life transformation case. Imagine someone, let's call him Adam. Adam overthinks every social interaction, replays conversations at night, avoids opportunities, feels behind in life. One day he decides, no more mental slavery. He doesn't become fearless overnight. He does 3 things consistently: daily breathing, regulation, structured deep work blocks, micro-exposure to uncomfortable conversations. First week, hard. Second week, slightly easier. Third week, he notices something strange. He reacts slower. He overthinks less intensely. Month 2, he speaks up more. Month 3, he starts initiating. Not because anxiety disappeared, because control increased. This is how transformation looks. Gradual, unsexy, consistent. The shadow work phase here is something most self-help content avoids. Sometimes overthinking is connected to old wounds. Rejection, embarrassment, failure. Your mind tries to prevent pain from repeating, but protection becomes prison. Ask yourself, what am I actually afraid of? Embarrassment, judgment, failure, loss of control? Name it. When fear is named, it shrinks. When it is vague, it grows. You don't need to destroy fear. You need to understand it. Understanding creates distance. Distance creates control. Advanced cognitive reset technique. When you catch yourself spiraling, do this. Step 1. Label the loop. This is rumination. Step 2. Shift to physical grounding. Cold water on face. 10 push-ups. Slow breathing. Step 3. Immediate micro-action. Send the message. Start the task. Make the call. Movement breaks mental loops. Action restores authority. Thinking rarely solves emotional spirals. Doing does. The internal leadership model. Most people are employees of their emotions. You need to become the CEO of your mind. Imagine your thoughts are team members. One says, we might fail. Another says, what will people think? Another says, let's avoid this. As the CEO, you listen, but you decide. Leadership is not silencing voices. It is directing them. I hear the fear. We move anyway. That is authority. The cinematic rebirth moment. Picture this, 6 months from now. You wake up. Your mind is quieter, not silent, but organized. You face a stressful situation, and instead of spiraling, you breathe, you decide, you act. Later that night, no replay, no self-attack, just calm reflection. That version of you is not fictional. It is built, day by day, breath by breath, decision by decision. The final commitment. You now have nervous system control tools, focus architecture, identity shift framework, exposure method, cognitive reset technique, psychological leadership model. This is not surface-level advice. This is mental reconstruction. But none of it matters if you stay passive. Transformation demands participation. You don't need intensity. You need consistency. One controlled breath. One focused block. One uncomfortable action. Every day. That is enough. You are not weak. You are overwhelmed. You are not incapable. You are untrained. You are not broken. You are distracted. Now you know. And once you know, you are responsible. The mind can be chaotic, or it can be commanded. Choose your role. Victim of thought, or architect of it. And once you choose, do not look back.